And welcome to the Batman 80th birthday celebration. 80 years ago today, March 30th, 1939, Detective Comics number 27. This guy came out. We got a star-studded panel for you. We got a year of Batman celebrations. I hope you're excited about this. I'm Gary Mariano, in case you don't know, and why would you? We got some fabulous talent. We've had a year-long celebration that already kicked off with about 1 million bats at South by Southwest, amongst other things. That's 1 million bats. Come on, that's cool. You want to check out Batman80.com. Got everybody writing that down? Plugging in right now? That's where we'll have every update you could ever hope for about all the good things, including our big celebrations on Batman Day, September 21st. Social media, tag everything with Long Live the Bat. And let's do it for a whole year, huh? All right, so we've got an amazing group of creatives here today. We're going to bring them out one at a time, because if I brought them out all at once, you guys would never stop clapping. So, for starters, a host and creator of Beyond the Trailer, a pop culture aficionado, Grace Randolph. You know his voice as Sonic the Hedgehog. He's popular in Assassin's Creed. He's Kylo Ren in Star Wars Battlefield. He is the voice of Batman in Batman Ninja. Like that. Batman Arkham Origins, the video game. Everybody play it? The Batman Unlimited franchise. He is Roger Craig Smith. DC's, they're still pouring in. Is this great or what? We should have had a bigger room. DC's Chief Creative Officer, he is best known for that amazing Batman Hush and a new Batman story out last Wednesday, or this past Wednesday, with Kevin Smith, Detective Comics 1000, landmark issue. Say hi to Jim Lee! This guy's so good, he's on 3 primetime series right now. American Housewife, Better Things, Veep. But for the purposes of this, he is the voice of Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold. Say hi to Diedrich Bader! We have literally seen this young man grow up before our eyes, and Bruce Wayne in the same move. That's right, we've got Gotham's own David Mazouz. This actress has had Emmy nominations, Golden Globe nominations. You might remember her from Barnaby Jones or The Time Tunnel or All My Children, but you will especially remember her from the 1966 Batman film as Catwoman herself. Meriwether! Cool panel, huh? He is vengeance. He is the knight. He is the voice of Batman and Batman the Animated Series, Kevin Conroy!
Thank you.
Is that a great collection of talent or what? And they have touched us in so many ways with Batman in so many different directions, celebrating together with us today. And just so you know, no birthday celebration is complete without cake. So we have, right? So thanks to Blueprint, a digital lifestyle platform who work with incredible cake artists, and I always want to be a cake artist, Ashley Holt has created this beautiful cake, spectacular cake. Just celebrate the occasion. Nice, huh? Yeah, you'll get a piece. Relax.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Batman. Happy birthday to you.
So there isn't enough of that to cut up and give out to everyone, but we want everyone to get cake. So we have special cupcakes for everyone in the audience. Cupcakes, and in addition, you get a little, can you see this? A Batman bat signal flashlight courtesy of in front of you.
Yeah, but it's not a flashlight.
You're a great detective and you missed the cupcake in front of you?
Alright, get it. Yeah, there you go.
Please, I know you all want a cupcake. I know you all want your goodies. We got people that are going to hand them out. Be patient. Relax. Don't make a mess. You have to clean up after you leave. Alright, so should we talk to these people, get some questions going? Because I'm You wonderful people on this stage, can you give me an idea of what was your first encounter with Batman? Comic, TV, movie, toy? Do you remember your first encounter? What was that like for you? Start us off, Grace.
Like most kids, I started out reading Archie comics, Archie, Betty, Veronica, and then one day I had an epiphany. I was like, Archie ain't never gonna choose. So I was like, let's see what's happening in the grown-up part of the comic book store. And I went over there and I was captivated by the DC Comics section. And I really lucked out that my dad got me the Batman Year One graphic novel, and I was hooked. And so buy somebody a Batman comic. That's how you make a new Batman fan.
I know, I have to put everything.
Mr. Lee.
Yeah, so I encountered Batman at a very, very early age. I was actually born in Seoul, South Korea, and I remember growing up watching the Superman and Max Fleischer cartoons, which are fabulous. And then when we moved to the United States, when I was 5, I didn't speak any English, and it was a whole different culture, a whole different country. I was really comforted by the fact that there was Superman also here in the United States, and I remember reading comic books because I couldn't read English. I didn't understand what was happening in the dialogue booms, but when the artist does their job right, you can actually tell what's going on by just looking at the pictures. And so, obviously, the world of Batman was something that really entranced me. It was a huge escape and an area of solace for me, I think, as I kind of dealt with the changes of kind of having moved to a different country and a different culture. And it really motivated me to learn how to read because I wanted to know what all these characters were saying to one another. And then obviously later, Batman 66 shows, a show I watched religiously in the afternoon every single day after school, and that really, I took it very, very seriously, I think as most kids did, and that just really opened me up to the entire world of the Batman mythology, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, so I remember when I was young, I was probably 3, 4.
2 years ago? Post now.
2009.
So, I was really young. I remember my mom used to take me to Radio Shack like once every couple of weeks and just get like, new toys. And I was always really excited, as anybody my age would be. And I always get something cool. So one week we got this bat computer. It was called the Bat Computer, and it was in the shape of like a bat thing. And you'd push it to open it, and every time you open it, it would say, "Bat Computer online." And then like the wings would pop out of the sides, and I remember I was super hyped about it. It had very little to do with Batman now that I think about it. It was just like random games that Batman would be a part of. But I remember I just always thought, like, this guy's cool. And that was just the very first time I was introduced to Batman. I love my Batman. I still have it. I still play games on it. Yeah, my inner 3-year-old is still very much alive and kicking inside of me. So yeah, that was my first introduction.
How about you, Lee? Your first encounter with Batman, you remember?
You tried to kill him.
Like, if not, it's fine.
I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. I was picking weeds in my front yard and my backyard, and if I had picked enough weeds and I brought them in to my father, and he said, "Oh, okay," and he looked at them and he says, "Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to give you for all of these weeds, and you have to put them over in the bag over there, and then you put it in the garbage box, and then come back." So I did, and then came back, and then he said, "All right, I'm going to give you, I think I'm going to give you 2 dimes."
Yes.
I said, "Oh, okay." And he said, "And you can walk down the block all by yourself to the drugstore." "I can?" And he said, yes, I'll be watching you." And he gave me the dimes. I literally ran to the drugstore, and I went in. It was a part of the drugstore was for magazines mostly, but they were putting in comic books. And I went over and I saw 10 cents. And I said, I got 2 comic books. One was Superman, and one was Batman. Superheroes. I knew what superheroes were too, because my mother told me she had that experience, the same experience that I was going through right now, and that she discovered comic books before I did, but my father didn't know that. So anyway, I walked home, and I was just waiting, because my mother loved to read to my brother and myself. And she read very well. And she could have been a great actress, I think. But anyway, I gave them to her to read to Donnie and myself. And I just closed my eyes, and I imagine what as you should read. But I took once in a while, open one eye and peeked at it. I said, yes. This is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is so good. Now I gotta figure out how to make more dimes. That was my first inkling of the Batman that I learned to love.
Perfect.
Well, I think like so many people, my first exposure was the Adam West Batman, who I just loved, and the show with that incredible cast, Adam and Burt Ward and Lee Meriwether and Cesar Romero and Frank Gorshin and Eartha Kitt. I mean, it was incredible. The cast was incredible. And that was my first exposure to it. And then when I was brought in just as an actor to audition for a new show, I didn't even know it had never been a show as an animated show. Bruce Timm had to bring me up to speed on The Dark Knight Legacy. I didn't know about the sort of noir quality of it, the darkness, the grittiness, the murder of his parents as a child. And I was just a New York actor in a booth, and they gave me this situation, and because I felt no pressure, because I knew nothing about any of this world, I just improvised on the spot. And as I was putting myself in the mind of that 7-year-old watching his parents killed in front of him, I just went to a place in my voice that it just... And it was just this dark, warm, I don't know how to describe it. Safe zone for me to be in. And that's how I discovered what I thought to be the soul of that. It was through that tragedy of his childhood.
When I was a kid, I was not allowed to have comic books, but then when we asked
I wasn't either.
Yeah, and it just...
Bruce Timm always says, what kind of childhood did you have?
No, it's really terrible. I was allowed to read Asterix, Tintin, and Lucky Luke, but not anything that was American. So anyway, when we moved to the States, the first thing I saw was actually the movie version of Batman with Miss Kitka over here. And I was overwhelmed. I didn't know, because there's no laugh track. I didn't know if I was supposed to laugh or take it seriously. Even the bat shark repellent. Because I was 8, I was so confused. It was like, what's happening right now? But I really loved the show. I used to watch it all the time, and I really, truly loved it. I will say one thing about Batman that is amazing. It's the best part ever. I think it's the best part anyone could ever play. The fact that I got my chance to play him is really amazing to me. It's better than Hamlet. It's better than anything, really, because of what Kevin was just saying. Like, there are so many different ways that you can perceive Batman. So many different stories within the way it can be told. So many different ways that he is perceived by other people, by creative writers, by yourselves. It's the greatest part. You know, I remember being backstage. I had one line in Hamlet. It was, he goes, "What ho, where are my Switzers?" And I say, "Here." So I had to wait for 3 hours for that line. And
That was you?
yeah. The other Switzer had that Batman comic book that came out in '85. Well, Miller, was that right? You know the, what's his face? Come on! Somebody has to know this. Yeah, right, Batman Returns. Which completely revolutionized my concept of how Batman should be. And then, of course, Kevin's amazing thing. I'm only bringing up the whole panoply of Batman because it's like every time, Gary's question was the first time you really met Batman, but I would say you meet him over and over and over again. because of the different ways he's perceived. And he's just, it's just the best, it's the best role, and it's just a gift that keeps giving. I mean, here I am, I was 8 when I watched Batman the movie, and now I'm on stage with Miss Kit Kat. Come on!
Am I the only one that like Batman the Ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain? The 60s TV show was easily my first introduction. Obviously, the animated series was my first, oh, wow, and I was a little bit older at the time. But the 60s series got me for the, I was told not to lie. I do that every time. Hi. The 60s series got me for the universe that they created where the physics of Batman and Robin so effortlessly climbing up a vertical wall while there was still slack in the rope going this direction. That's when I knew Batman was for me. That seriously started me, like my brother and I would sit there and replicate that with a VHS camera back in the day because we thought that was so cool.
That's awesome.
Different answer.
Magic Mountain just called. They have a lifetime pass now for you.
Yeah.
My plan has worked.
Smart man.
Would any of you like to take a crack at why you think this character has endured and endeared for 80 years?
Yeah, I think, I was thinking about this, because there's so many great characters. And I think that with most heroes, it's if only. You know, even the Joseph Campbell mythology is someone else comes along and says, oh, you didn't know it, but you're special. And that only happens to a very select few number of people. But with Batman, Batman makes the most of what he's got. And on top of that, he overcomes tragedy. So that's something that like anyone can do and actually can do. And so I think that that's very inspirational.
He has no superpowers. Yeah, he has no superpowers. He's just an ordinary person and put in an extraordinary situation. And he doesn't let it crush him. He overcomes adversity. We all have difficult lives. You know, everyone's life gets challenged. And to watch someone get so challenged and not let it crush him, for him to overcome it, for him to triumph over it and try to heal the world is just so admirable. People adore the character.
I just like the fact that he had billions of dollars. I would get a lot of therapy and just get over it personally, but no. I think all that stuff is actually key to it, but also, you know, speaking from an artist's point of view, this is a character that just looks badass. He's got the greatest costume ever. He's got the greatest gadgets ever. The Batmobile, the greatest lair ever in a cave. Who wouldn't want to be in a cave? And then also, I think he's really defined. You know, that every hero is kind of defined by the villains they take on. And if you look at all the generations of creators that worked on this mythology, they've all added to the mythology, the lore, and so we have literally the greatest rogues gallery ever. And I think that's part of it. Is that not only was it a great character with a great theme, a lot of great creators have added onto that mythology and kept this character vibrant and contemporary and of the modern era.
Jim, is there anything else about his legacy that we need to know?
Oh yeah, actually I do have some news to share with you guys. So you guys know that this convention is actually thrown by Comic-Con International. They're the same people that throw the San Diego Comic-Con. They have started a Comic-Con museum down in Balboa Park. I don't know if any of you guys are from San Diego. World famous too, but they're actually taking over the old federal building there. It is an amazing space that they're doing all sorts of kind of programming. But the Wednesday of the con, July 17th, they're going to induct the very first character into the Comic-Con Museum Hall of Fame. And that character it's Batman. You got it.
I think if you said anybody except for Batman just then, you have a very large room full of angry people.
wah, wah, wah. No, so if you guys are going to be at Comic-Con, please join us Wednesday. There's going to be a fantastic ceremony. We're going to bring in a bunch of props and things from the shows, actors and creators, and we're going to really celebrate again Batman's 80th at that event.
Grace, we've got quite the year lined up for celebrations. Can you give us some of the highlights and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, you should look at this awesome thing as like a coming attraction. Because on Batman Day, he's got 2 days, September 21st, a number of cities across the globe, they're going to have a bat signal light up the sky. So that's going to be pretty nice. And then also, it might be Batman's birthday, but the awesome thing is that you are getting the gifts. So you already got this stuff today if you're in the room, but anybody can go on DC Universe today. All the Batman content is free till the end of the day. So that's the comics, that's the movies, that's the TV shows. Also, there's Batman 1000, which you saw the beautiful artwork by yours truly, just up there a moment ago. And then also, I actually purchased it today. I was like having lunch before this panel, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do on Batman's birthday? I'm gonna read the new Batman Detective Comics, which just got a new logo. The Deluxe 80 Years edition, which has a number of first stories in it. And I sat down and I read the first Batman story, which I think was a nice way to celebrate his birthday.
Hey Jim, what was it like for you taking on your first Batman project? And was it daunting? And what is it that sets this character apart when you're creating, conjuring these images?
Yeah, I think every every working mainstream comic artist wants to take her stab at Batman. Sorry. And when I came on, they wanted me to just do a special or a mini series because I didn't really meet deadlines well. And, and I said, for it to be really meaningful to me, I want to be part of the timeline that goes all the way back to 1939. I want to be part, actually 1940 with Batman, but who's counting, right? So I want to be part of that history. I wanted to stand on the shoulders of the giants that preceded me, and I think everyone kind of wants to do their take on Batman and kind of show the audience or the fans, like, what do you guys think of this? And how does it, rate and compare? And I was just very fortunate to work with a collaborator like Jeff Loeb, who basically cracked up. He crafted a story that really resonated and allowed me to kind of walk through the entire Rogues Gallery. I was talking before about how amazing that Rogues Gallery is, and just had an amazing time with it. But the funny thing is, as I was doing it, I was just like, I just want to draw Batman. And it's interesting years later to see really how many fans it kind of brought into the business or brought lapsed fans back. And again, it shows you the impact of this character in the world that he lives in, and how inspirational and aspirational it is for so many of you.
David, you started with this character and you've grown with this character. What did he mean to you at the start? What does he mean to you now, and how has that evolved?
It's evolved tremendously. When I first booked this, I was auditioning when I was 12. I had just turned 13 when I found out that I'd got it. And to be completely honest, I had no idea what I was stepping into. I thought that I was just pumped that I got another job. And I remember it first hit me. There were a couple moments, but one of the first times was when it was my first day of work. I was in my hotel room in the Lower East Side of New York, and I was really excited to be in New York, really excited to start something new. And I remember brushing my teeth, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, wait a second, you're Batman. I spent the next 20 minutes jumping off my hotel bed, up and down, just like screaming, I'm Batman, yay! But I really did not realize the world that I was stepping into, and the devotion, and the crazy amount you guys, and myself included, of fans that care so much about this character. I did not know until we went to Comic-Con for the first time, and the show had not aired. The only thing fans had seen, we were like shooting our second episode, it was super, super early, was a 3-minute trailer, which is a very good trailer, but it was still just a trailer. And I remember we had crowds and crowds and crowds of like people who wanted to get pictures with us and get autographs, and I just kept thinking to myself, why? You don't know if you're gonna like our product yet. You haven't seen it. You can hate what we do. And I realized they're not fans of us. It's impossible to be fans of us. You haven't done anything yet. They're fans of Batman. And I just remember how, like, I remember that realization. It's so stark in my mind. And that's kind of when I realized, you know, I don't know, I guess the passion that surrounds this character, and for good reason. And so I guess, yeah, what does it mean to me now? It means everything. It means that, like, the fact that I am now a part of this in some way. Hopefully I will be a part of a show that influences future Batman creators like the brilliant ones that I'm here on stage with. It just means everything, because this character means so much to me. And kind of going back to your last question, why did this character resonate with so many people? I think it's because it's exactly what Grace and Kevin were saying. He did something remarkable. I think there's two natural ways, and this is explored in the Batman mythos all the time. There's two ways to deal with something, with tragedy, with something bad happening to you. You can either say to yourself, I'm mad right now, something bad happened to me, I want other people to feel my pain, which is kind of what most of the Rogues Gallery kind of their thinking is, and something we play with on Gotham all the time too. Or you can say to yourself, which is a much harder thing to do, I feel pain right now, I want nobody else to feel this pain. And that's what Batman does, and that's really, really hard to do. He turned his tragedy into strength. And I remember I had this fan come up to me once at a convention, and it was fairly early, or maybe it was second season or something like that, and she was around my age, I was probably around 14, 15, and she said, right around the time that Gotham started airing, she had lost her mom to cancer. And she said, seeing how Bruce took his tragedy and turned it into something positive for everybody around him, that inspired me to not let my mom's death, get me down. And I started, that's back, I started bawling right then and there. I just felt so proud of this character, who's now 80. And yeah, I'm just so grateful. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I'm so grateful to be part of this. So thank you all.
It's incredible how the character echoes with the audience and the stories that we all hear, I think. I had a young woman at the Chicago Comic-Con come up to me, not a young woman, she was like 30, 20s, 30. And she said, I always wanted to thank you. She said, I grew up in the projects on the south side of Chicago, and everyone I grew up with is either dead or in jail. But Batman's why I'm not. She said, I watched your show every afternoon. My mother worked 3 jobs, my father worked 2 jobs. I was home alone every afternoon, and when my friends were getting into trouble, I had Batman. Teaching me the difference between right and wrong. And she said, I always wanted to hold you. I want to hold you. So we hugged, and we both just started crying. Like what you were saying. And you just realize the power that this character has in so many people's lives. It's very powerful.
If I can speak to that power, it's not lost on me who I'm sitting next to here. And Kevin made fun of me for wearing a Batman t-shirt backstage. And
I just thought you were kind of milking it.
It hurts. I'm just saying. The impact of the character.
Okay,
sorry, Gary, I just totally derailed everything after all that serious stuff. But seriously, go ride Batman the Ride, it's awesome.
Slide slide that microphone over to Lee there.
Well, I'm sorry, Lee. Yeah.
Lee, we lost one of the great Batmans of all time, Adam West, just 2 years ago. Some of us were privy to a wonderful story Lee told about the first scene she shot with him. Mind recounting for these folks?
I'm sorry.
Can't hear me?
What did you say?
Everybody was responding to the picture, and that was because you look amazing. Seriously, look at
Hey, it's hard to hear up here.
I seem to remember that I had worked pretty much that day, not doing much than getting my hair done and makeup. They were trying out things on me. And then the next day, they changed the course of the scenes. So we were going to go and do another one, and it was the dancing scene in the nightclub. And so I thought, what can I do? Yeah. So I went I went to wardrobe, and they fitted me, and then I had to go to makeup, and remembering this makes me. It wasn't all that bad, really. but it was so charming. Adam was he was such a gentleman. He was such a dear man. And I said, how do I look? And he said, Lee, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. And I said, I see myself looking not too good. And I don't want to tell the makeup woman, and I don't want to take the hairdresser or anything. And he said, Lee, listen, if you looked bad, I'd get a headache. And I said, why? Well, that's one way to stop the show for a while, and you can get some more, whatever you want. And I said, oh, no, don't. Do I look all right? I reverted to childhood things that happened to me when I was young. And I just went bananas. And he said, Lee, please, you're beautiful. Don't let it bother you. I said, all right. And I told him, I said, they've got me in a Meriwether, and I can barely breathe. And he said, well, I think you could probably take it off. Oh. Okay. I'll be right back. And he said, well, pretty soon, because they're gonna call lights, and that's it. And I said, I'll be right back. Tell them I had to go to the bathroom. I will. And so I went in and I unloosened whatever they had me strapped in. I can't remember now, but it was more like in the scene in a couple of films that I saw where they tighten until the waist goes in. And so I undid everything, But the dress still worked out. I zipped it as best I could, upside down, because I was turning upside down because that's the only way I could do it. And then I took a deep breath, and I thought, please, Lord, help me. So I walked out, and he was standing there. And bless his heart, he said, honey, you look good. You look good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yes, I'm sure. Come on. I suddenly became his little sister. And I took his hand and he took mine, and then we went on to the stage. And we were supposed to be dancing, and he said, and in soft, just in my ear, and he said, you're beautiful. Know it, you're beautiful. Now just hold on, and we're gonna dance, okay? All right, okay. He just kept talking to me, and it just worked. And I was able to move. I wasn't looking for air. Everything was fine, it was beautiful. I loved that man so much after that.
Roger, Diedrich, and Kevin, in that order. Can you give me a quick, and we have 2 minutes to do this. Give me your idea of what takes to get, we already know Kevin, what takes to get into his mindset. Tell me what you do to get into your mindset of Batman, and then give me your favorite Batman line. And then Kevin, give us yours.
For me, it's the fact that these gentlemen have established it already, and I just literally have to contract something that I think would be sticking with what they've established. I mean, quite seriously and honestly, excuse me. And really and truly, the best motivation is you go to Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I always say I just do a really poor impression of Kevin. For me, it's just, to get into the character, light vigilante work around the neighborhood. Put the towel on to see what's going on, Not simple necessary. I just go out and try to stir things up. Usually I'm with the bad dogs. That's it, pretty much. Well, there we go. I love that one because he's wearing a suit and the cowl. The full ensemble. Yeah.
Kevin, I think we need to cap this panel with you delivering the lines.
Say it. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
I gave her goosebumps.
I still got it, baby.
Happy birthday, Batman. Dun dun dun.
Happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Holy happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday.
I mean, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman from Batman.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman. I still want to do it.
Happy birthday, Batman.
I hope you have some good cake. Happy 80th.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman. Happy birthday, Batman, you little bastard.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday, Batman.
80 years? Dang, Bruce Wayne looking good, keeping it tight. Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
Happy 80th anniversary to the dog.
Happy birthday, Batman. We love you, we appreciate you. Here's to how many more years?
Hundreds more years.
Happy birthday, Batman. Take it away, brother.
Happy 80th anniversary to the Dark Knight.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
I owe you everything.
Happy birthday, Batman!
Happy birthday, Batman. Love you, Mom.
Happy birthday, Batman. Lots of love, Dad.
Happy birthday, Batman. 8 years old. You look great.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Oh, come on. Happy birthday, Batman. You're 80. So be careful on the stairs with that cape.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Enjoy Batman.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman. We're my first Halloween costume.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Holy 80th birthday, Batman! Happy 80th birthday, Batman! Happy 80th birthday, Batman!
Happy birthday to the one and only Batman and Jenny Popeye.
Happy birthday, Batman. I love you.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman! We're, sorry about your parents.
Happy 80th birthday, Batman. Happy 80th birthday, Batman.
Hey, happy birthday, Batman. Thank you so much for all these years of service. Couldn't do it without you, and hope you stick around for a long time after.